The Philippines has accused China of harassment after a Chinese Navy ship and dozens of militia vessels surrounded a contested Philippine-occupied island in the South China Sea, as territorial tensions mount in the area. The Coast Guard said 42 vessels, believed to be crewed by Chinese maritime militia personnel, were seen loitering in the vicinity of Thitu Island on Saturday, while a Chinese Navy vessel and Coast Guard ship were observed slowly loitering in the surrounding waters. That in the Spratly Island chain is Manila's biggest and most strategically important outpost in the South China Sea, a body of water largely claimed by Beijing where several countries have conflicting territorial claims. Tensions between the Philippines and China over claims to the South China Sea have intensified in recent weeks after Washington and Manila announced plans to expand America's military presence in the Southeast Asian nation. And China has now responded by sending 42 Chinese militia vessels, including a Navy ship and a Coast Guard vessel, to Thitu Island in a move that the Philippines has slammed as harassment. Commodore J. Tariella, a Coast Guard spokesperson, said the vessels were still in the area on Monday, adding, "This is a form of harassment." Experts say China's fishing fleet and Coast Guard are central to its strategic ambitions in the South China Sea, maintaining a constant presence that complicates fishing and offshore energy activities by other coastal states. Their continuing unauthorized presence is clearly inconsistent with the right of innocent passage and a blatant violation of the Philippines' territorial integrity, the Coast Guard said in a statement. Locally known as Pagasa, Thitu lies about 300 miles west of the western Philippine province of Palawan. Home to over 400 people, including military and law enforcement personnel, the island is used by Manila to maintain its territorial claim. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said 2 weeks ago the Philippines will not lose an inch of territory as the Southeast Asian protested China's aggressive activities in the sea. Marcos last month summoned the Chinese ambassador to complain about the intensity and frequency of China's actions in the South China Sea. Indeed, the Philippines accused a Chinese Coast Guard ship of hitting a Philippine Coast Guard vessel with a military-grade laser. Manila said the laser temporarily blinded some of its crew in the disputed South China Sea, calling it a blatant violation of Manila's sovereign rights. The Chinese ship also maneuvered dangerously close, about 450 feet, to block the Philippine patrol vessel BRP Malapascua from approaching Second Thomas Shoal, a submerged reef that has been occupied by Philippine forces. On February 6, the Philippine Coast Guard said in a statement, "The Philippines has filed 77 complaints against China's activities in the sea, including a claim that a Chinese Coast Guard ship on February 6 directed a military-grade laser at a Philippine Coast Guard ship on a supply mission." China claims sovereignty over the Spratlys, while Brunei, Malaysia, the Philippines, Taiwan and Vietnam all have competing claims for some or all of the islands. And much to China's fury, the US and the Philippines announced that rotating batches of American forces would be granted access to 4 more Philippine military camps aside from 5 other local bases. Manila-based political scientist Andrea Chloe Wong said the location of the Philippine camps would give the US military the presence it would need to be a strong deterrent against Chinese aggression in the South China Sea. Tensions have also been growing in recent months and years over China's plans to launch an invasion of Taiwan, which it sees as its own, in the coming years. The US has said its force would defend the island in the event of an invasion. China claims the South China Sea virtually in its entirety, putting it on a collision course with other claimants. Meanwhile, Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang today warned that China and America are heading for a catastrophic conflict if Washington continues to speed down the wrong path. Qin Gang lashed out at the US over deteriorating bilateral relations and Washington's support for Taiwan, while praising Beijing's growing ties to Moscow, which he said set an example for global foreign relations. He also insinuated that America was undermining efforts for peace in Ukraine in order to extend the conflict for its own benefit, amid reports that China is considering sending arms to Russia to help with Vladimir Putin's brutal invasion. In his wide-ranging press conference, he dismissed warnings from Western countries that China may supply Russia with arms, saying it would not accept blame-shifting, sanctions, suppression and threats targeting Beijing.
We've helped millions of creators improve their SEO to grow their YouTube channels. TubeBuddy is a platform that helps you save time, get more views, and do more on YouTube.
Wow, that is exactly what I need.
Oh, want to put your thumbnail ideas to the test? A/B testing is the way to find out which one works best. And don't get us started on our bulk editing features that will...
sold military ships and equipment to the Philippines and Vietnam to improve their maritime security capacity and deter Chinese aggression. The United States has a role in preventing military escalation resulting from the territorial dispute. Washington
Yan, ilang beses na dyan nagpupunta sa opisina ko, no? Ang kailangan lang dyan, kasi parang palit-palit sila, minsan Beijing, minsan Manila, dapat time na ng Beijing mag-host niyan. I-open nila yung communication na yun. Let them open the channels of communication.
There's a Chinese Coast Guard vessel that's watching us at the moment. It's done 3 sweeps. First of all, 200 meters away, then 100 meters away, and now 50 meters away. It's watching our every move.
The Philippines is planning to boost its which is how the country calls its territory in the larger South China Sea. The Defense Department said this is following monitored Chinese activities near Thitu Island, locally known as Bahasa Island, which is occupied by a Filipino civilian population but also claimed by Vietnam, Taiwan, and China. Now, the
Untuk para pengusaha di Indonesia, semangat untuk membantu sesama selalu menjadi penggerak utama dari usaha kalian.
Sebagai platform penyediaan pokok online, kami itu pengen petani dapat penghasilan lebih dengan cara mereka bisa langsung menjual produk mereka kepada pembeli. Pada akhirnya,
200 kilometers west of the Philippines, a coral reef in the South China Sea. Fishing was good, say Filipino fishermen, until the Chinese Coast Guard came.